Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast.
This is a show dedicated to helping you become a better organist.
We're your hosts, Vidas Pinkevičius.
And Aušra Motuzaitė Pinkevičienė.
We have over 25 years of experience of playing the organ.
And we've been teaching thousands of organists online from 89 countries since 2011.
So now let's jump in and get started with the podcast for today.
We hope you'll enjoy it.
Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Aušra.
Let's start episode 713 of Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. This question was sent by Jim and he writes, I'm trying to think when, if ever, someone would want to use a 16-foot stop when playing on the manuals. It seems that practice would give a very thick and muddy sound to the part written for the manuals. Can you give an instance or example of when it would be appropriate to use a 16-foot stop for the manuals or one of the manuals, please? I'm just having trouble imagining what type of sound that would be. Thank you very much, Jim.
Yes, that's a very good question. And actually quite an easy one to answer because, 16-foot stop, if used appropriately in the manuals, it does not make, sound muddy. Because you just have to know the instances when it's best to use it and when it's better not to use. For example, at St. John's, if I'm playing the piano registration on the Hauptwerk, on the first manual, on the grid, I always add the 16-foot principle. Because the piano with a mixture and without 16-foot principle would sound, not as good. It sort of completes, rounds up that piano sound.
It depends on the mixture composition, because on other manuals we don't need 16-foot stop. We don't necessarily need it, right? We could use it, but not always. As Aušra mentions, on the great manual, there is this mixture which is ranked lower. It's a low mixture based on 16-foot harmonic series, not on 8-foot harmonic series. So if you don't use 16-foot stop together with this mixture, what happens then?
Well, when the sound is sort of screamy-like, and in order to round it up, you need to add the 16-foot principle. Then it sounds now nice and complete.
I think the lowest rank of the mixture starts at 2 2/3, right? So that's pretty low. You need 16-foot stop principle or the bourdon to make it blend with the chorus. For example, on the third manual, Oberwerk, it's not as low. It could be like 1 1/3, I think. We have even a cymbal, which is even higher. So it's a brighter sound, and we don't need 16-foot stop then all the time.
Then another instance when I love to use the 16-foot stop on the manual is when I'm playing a texture which has, solo voice in the right hand and then some sort of accompaniment in the left hand. And when, if you would have two different manuals and 16-foot in your left hand and solo voice in another manual, the 16-foot stop would add some sort of pedal sound. So in the left hand. It would trick sort of, your ear and your mind, and you could imagine that you are playing, pedals instead of a left hand. That's sometimes very handy. And actually, sometimes I like to cheat too. when I don't want to use pedals too much and don't have, for example, time, I just play the pedal part, with my left hand on the 16-foot stop. Of course, you never use like 16-foot stop alone in the manual unless it's like a reed stop. Then it's, another question and another manner of registering.
It's an interesting observation, Osha. A lot of trios written in the Baroque period with cantus firmus in the middle voice, in the tenor, it can be played both ways, with the pedals taking the bass line or with the pedals taking the tenor line. And if that's the case, in the pedals we wouldn't use 16-foot registration, only 8-foot bass stop, like a reed. But in the left hand part, like Osha says, we could use 16 and 8, right? There is even actually a theory. You could play the famous Wachet auf, ruft uns die Stimme chorale prelude from the 6 Schubler's chorales by Bach this way. Right hand could be played on the principal 8. Left hand could take 16 and 8 flute stops as the bass line, and in the pedals you could have 8-foot reed playing the tenor line, the cantus firmus.
Yes, it's very handy, to have this option. What would you do if you would have like 16-foot reed on the manual with this? How would you register?
That's a nice idea too. On a big organs, there are a few 16-foot reeds. Like we have, for example, 16-foot bombard on the first manual on the grade, and we have on the swell, we have fagot, not fagot, it's called, what is it called?
Dulcian?
I think it's called bassoon. Yeah, like a German version.
So it's fagot.
Yeah, a German, English or French version of the fagot, of the bassoon. So basically it's a softer reed than the trumpet, but it works very well for playing fast bass lines, fast running bass passages on the pedals, on the left hand part. So there is like this famous Christ unser Herr,
Zum Jordan come.
yes, from the Klavierübung part 3 by Bach, and it has a running left hand part which could be effectively played with this 16-foot.
Yes, that's a very nice option, actually.
Then you would have tenor cantus firmus with the pedals, 8-foot reed, and some other stops in the right hand playing the canon.
Yes, and in general, I like having 16-foot stop on the manuals because for me somehow it helps to make organ sound too screamy because it has so many high pitch stops, all the mutations and 2 and 1 foot stop and 16-foot in that case to balance.
If the reed is loud, 16-foot reed is loud, like Bombard 16, then probably it's best to reserve it for the chordal texture, like chorus, fanfare-like sounds, if you want to use on a big registration. In addition to other stops, you would add 16-foot bombard.
To make like powerful sound even more powerful. And people often ask us how to reharmonize, for example, the last stanza of a hymn. Then in some cases it would be just enough, to add the bombard for the last verse of a hymn.
I also noticed that this bombard might make sound muddy if we are not using even more high-pitched stops. So we already probably would have used mixture on the first manual before drawing Bombard 16, and I like to add tiers, a third sound, 1 and 3/5 together with the Bombard, which then brightens up this powerful sound on the first manual. Or if we have strong fingers, we could add a coupler to the Oberwerk, to the third manual, and then we would have an even brighter mixture together with the first manual.
So in any case, you need to experiment with your organ, try various combinations and see what works, what is not working, and decide for yourself.
Then there is this also regional tradition. For example, in the Netherlands, for example, there is interesting tradition to sing psalms. In the right-hand part, you would have solo melody, which would be registered on the 8-foot manual, on the 8-foot registration, but also on the 16-foot registration in the right-hand part, in the soprano. And we were told that it is due to the fact that the psalm was sung by men, 1 octave lower. So yeah, every country has its own tradition. For example, in the middle of Lithuania, there is this village church which has one manual organ without any pedal. Just one single manual, and it has 16-foot trumpet.
Yes,
Remember
that's
that?
very bizarre, yeah.
Historical organ, amateur organ builder, by the way, monastic. It is like a organ builder / monk. But he built an organ with a 16-foot trumpet.
And it doesn't have divided keyboard.
No.
So that's very bizarre.
I remember visiting the church long time ago with Professor Rimantas Gučas as part of the organ study trip throughout Lithuania with Ausra and some other colleagues from the Academy of Music in Lithuania, and we all tried this instrument, and I didn't know what to play on that 16-foot trumpet, and I think I played Hindemith's music a little bit.
Yeah.
Paul Hindemith. Okay, so I think we have discussed this 16-foot registration on the manuals pretty extensively today. If you have any other observations and questions, please let us know. And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.
This podcast is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online.
It has hundreds of courses, coaching, and practice materials for every area of organ playing, thousands of instructional videos and PDFs. You will not find more value anywhere else online.
Total Organist helps you to master any piece, perfect your technique, develop your sight reading skills, improvise or compose your own music, and much, much more.
Sign up and begin your training today at organduo.lt and click on Total Organist. And of course, you will get the first month free too. You can cancel anytime.
If you like our organ music, you can also support us on Buy Me a Coffee platform.
Find out more at buymeacoffee.com/organduo.